Hey everyone, MJ here. Now, you guys know me. I'm not a big self-promoter. I'm just not good at it. And I don't really, it's not my thing. But I always wanted to do like this really big introduction. So let me just try this and see what happens, okay? Get all ready here. Okay, here we go. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the greatest live streamer in the world. Here he is, MJ Klein. Hey everyone, MJ here. I want to thank you so much for.
You think so?
No, I don't think so. I think you're the greatest live streamer in the world, and I'm actually very sorry I said that. Okay, let's try this again. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the greatest live streamer in Taiwan. Here he is, MJ Klein. Hey guys, it's MJ. Thank you so much for joining.
MJ? Really? Since when?
Since never, actually. Okay, let's try again. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the greatest live streamer from Hsinchu, Taiwan. Here he is, MJ Klein. Hey everyone, it's MJ. Thank you so much for joining.
In your dreams, MJ. In your dreams.
Oh, and my dreams they're shattered. Okay, one more time. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here he is, the greatest live streamer in Hsinchu County, in Hukou Township, in the Hsinchu Industrial Park, in this particular neighborhood, and on this block. Please welcome MJ Klein. And here we are, same shirt and everything. Yeah, I'm facing around the other way this time. How's everybody doing? A little whiskey in the studio. Yeah, this is White Horse, one of the two blended Scotch whiskeys that I like. Hi everybody, fist bump to you. Hi Auntie, how's everybody doing? I want to welcome everyone on Periscope, which is now Twitter Live, and of course Twitch and YouTube. How's it going? Been a while since I've done a PRISM mobile in the studio facing this way. I had a bunch of changes in here. It's kind of a mess. I routinely do this. I work in my studio for a couple months, and then I make some technological improvements, and I tear it all apart. And but the technological improvements that I have now, these are the Atom Audio T8V monitors. V for vertical, but the T8V, if you ever want to look that up, I mean, these things don't look like much, but that's my hand. This is a big speaker. It goes down to 33 hertz. I've been drooling over these for a long time. I've needed monitors, bigger than the 3-inch. Now, the reason I like these are Tascam. The reason I like these is these things are flat, ruler flat from about 100 hertz right up. Got some stellar mid-range. But I needed the bottom end of this 8-inch driver. And this is a special, they call it a UART, this tweeter here. It's a special ribbon tweeter, handmade. And it's astonishing. A lot of loudspeakers, the high end can be harsh and brittle, and this is just soft and smooth, and you can work for hours, and it's not irritating, So I've been having a lot of fun. I had to do some kind of makeshift mounting in the interim. I have another mounting solution that I'm going to implement, but I have them in place to do testing and check out the stereo field and everything, and boy, making a big difference, let me tell you. And I'm going to have to go back again and do some of my work over because I can hear distortion. And you know, virtually every YouTube video that I've seen that somebody's reviewed these monitors, they say the same thing. They've been using these other, you know, highly touted, prestigious name, big time monitors, and then they get these and they go, oh crap. I hear distortion in that mix that I didn't hear on my big name prestigious monitor, so it's really something. Makes a big difference. Let's get this out of the way first. The last week or so in Taiwan has been remarkable considering the COVID-19 situation. As many know, Taiwan really did not start vaccinating people until late in this year because there weren't any vaccines. Nobody gave us any. And, you know, Taiwan is in this limbo thing because of China. It's not really a country, but it is a country, but it's not. And anyway, thanks to Japan, United States, a lot of the mRNA vaccines, primarily AZ and Moderna, were donated, and now we have our own indigenous, finally, one of two has been released. There's a company called Medigen, and they have released a recombinant spike protein subunit vaccine. It's not a messenger RNA vaccine. It's a traditional type vaccine, and that they just released 600,000 doses. But in the meantime, what do you do if you can't, you know, have some kind of pharmacological solution to something like this? And then you take, you know, social measures, masking, social distancing, hand washing, rules about gatherings and so forth. And unlike other countries, Taiwan has a relatively compliant population. So when they said, you know, these, you know, claw places and karaoke's and certain restaurants, they just closed. People closed it. They said you have to wear a mask outside. People wore a mask outside. Now, occasionally you read the news. Somebody got busted in Taipei. They had 60 people gambling in a room, and it's just the cigarette smoke alone must have been killer. But those things have been far and few. And so when we started having serious cases of local transmission in May, they went up as high. They peaked as high as around 700 a day. And now they're way back down into single digits. So let me show you today. The announcement was this. And I know you guys can't read Chinese, but if you look at those numbers and you look at the chart, the number on the left that says 2, that is the number of local transmissions reported today. 2 in the whole country. And if you look at the bottom, you'll see two numbers with the 1. And the one says Taipei, so that's Taipei City, and the other one says Xingbei, so which means New Taipei. So it's all in the north. There was one case in Taipei City and one case in New Taipei City. Going back to the chart, the 7 are imported cases. And the 0, very thankfully, is the number of deaths reported. And so we had no deaths. And for some strange reason, Taiwan has had a disproportionately high ratio of deaths, and I don't know why. But what this means is, this means that with a relatively speaking, I mean, compared to most countries, just because of circumstances more than anything else, I mean, Taiwanese are willing to take vaccines, and, you know, we take vaccines. I take vaccines all the time. I get the flu shot. I've had hepatitis here. You know, I don't have anything against vaccines. I just don't want the messenger RNA. I don't trust those. The new Medigen and the United Biomedical, they're both protein subunit vaccine similar to like the flu shot. So I get one of those as soon as it's available. It's no problem. So people here are willing to get vaccinated, but there just wasn't that many doses available, right? So think about that for a minute. That means that the Taiwan government, even though the pharmacological solution, that is inoculation, wasn't really a strong viable option due to the limited number of doses, they still managed to get the case numbers down into the single digits in less than 3 months. I want everybody to think about that. In less than 3 months. This is an island, okay? I mean, Florida is bigger than Taiwan. We have 23.8 million people. We have the population of Australia. Hey, Frank. Fist bump. I'll read that in a second. That sounds good. We have the population of Australia in a landmass that basically, for those in the United States, would be equal to like Massachusetts and Connecticut put together, and yet within 3 months, the government got the pandemic back under control. And that is the value of a compliant, law-abiding, non-rebellious population. Although I will say, personal rights and freedoms in Taiwan, I think, are protected and respected to a higher degree than any other country I've ever been in. So, now Frank said he's listening from Salem. He's camping. Oh man, weather must be amazing, you know. And because he said it was above 80 degrees now. So what's 80 degrees? See, I'm so metric now. I know I can tell you from, I remember 80 degrees is just a little hot. It's not too hot. So I think 80 degrees is like about 25 C. So he's getting ready to hang on the feedback. I like that. Spaghetti, homemade, yep. And dip in the bay. Oh yeah, and that's really good for your health. And that salt water there is nice too. And Anti is reminded me too that there are Formosa Islands too. And sharing islands with Japan. Yeah, there's Taiwanese on those islands too. There's ones close to, what is it? Ishigaki, and then what's the other one? I forget. I'm tired. You know, it is 051. Yeah, not Okinawa. Yeah, the one I know what you mean. The ones between. You know, Okinawa's kind of far away, but yeah, the ones between there. Is Ishigaki? Is that considered Okinawa? Anyway, so. Part of the what they call the Ryukyu Islands, I guess. But anyway, I always wanted to go there, and it's not that far away. And from what I understand, you can take a boat trip and go there. So, oh yeah. Yeah, he's talking about what they call in Chinese the Dayutai. And the Japanese call those the senkakus, right? Hey Dean, how you doing? Fist bump to you too. Yeah, and they both claim it. But here's the thing, you know, Taiwan claims it, and Japan claims it, but they're good neighbors, you know, and they tolerate each other. So, like for example, Taiwan doesn't send like Coast Guard ships, you know, there to intimidate the Japanese. You know, they each have fishing boats there, and they each go like, yeah, okay, that's fine, as long as there's not like a bazillion of them and you're, you know, killing all the fish. As opposed to another country local to this area who does do all of those things. You may know who I'm talking about, but Dean, how you doing? You must be back from your trip in Telluride. Yeah, that's true. Hey, Myrna, fist bump to you. Welcome from Texas. Yes, good to see you too. You know, Myrna, when you go on Twitch, I'm usually laying in bed because it's, you know, it's like, well, I'm usually in bed at about this time. And so, yeah, you're one of the few live streamers that I actually watch, like laying on my pillow, looking at my phone. It's kind of funny. So, excellent, excellent. And how's your family? How your kids doing and everything? And so, Myrna, I hope you deleted that video that I told you about, because you went to the mailbox and you took out your mail and you flashed it for a split second. I'm not going to tell anybody, you know, what it is, but you can see your address on it. So I hope you deleted that. Okay. I was thinking that maybe, because I was thinking about maybe sending you a card to say hi, but it probably would have freaked you out if I did that. Hi, Myrna, I got your address from one of your live streams, so it kind of freaks people out, but these things happen. It's funny because I saw today something really funny, because you guys know I love humor, right? And I love humorous videos. Good. And one of those things, like, you know, how Jay Leno goes around and asks people questions, right? It's one of those videos. It's kind of like the, you know, just everyday pedestrian people being stupid. So the question was, the guy was talking to a young woman, a college-age woman, and you know, he's got the microphone, and he's, you know, talking to her, and he says, you know, studies show that people have passwords that are not really as secure as they should be. And he said, so what do you think is like one of the most insecure passwords that you use? And she said, well, I have to admit, it was the name of my dog and the year I graduated college. He says, oh, I see. He says, okay. I said, what kind of a dog have you got? She says, oh, he's a really cute dog. He says, well, how long you had him? He says, okay. He says, well, what's his name? She said his name. And he says, so you graduated college already? Yes. And you, okay, so what was your field of study, and what, you know, what was your degree? She says, okay, so and what year did you graduate? And she said that too. And the audience, you know, in the background is just laughing their head off. She just basically gave everybody, you know, her password. Oh my goodness. And in the worst case of that, right, that I ever saw was some young person, right, and I understand how, you know, you're an adolescent, you're growing up, and you, hey, Bernardo, fist bump, man, I haven't seen you for a long time. How you been? How you been? We missed you, bro. Good to see you. You know, you're adolescent, right? And, you know, you get out of high school, and, you know, you start working, you go to university, and eventually, you know, you get your first credit card, and that's like a big deal, right? So I saw a Twitter post where a young girl had said, hey, I got my new credit card today, my very first credit card, and you can see every number on it. And she said, but there's only one thing I don't understand. And in the next picture, she said, what's this 3-digit code on the back for? And she showed it. Hey, Nagar. Doing good, man. How you doing? Yeah, we're having a great time. It's late here. It's 1:57 a.m. in Taiwan. I'm in my studio. I don't have the JS1P up today. I have an older, actually kind of an inexpensive, a cheap Tascam condenser mic. It only costs like $50, but this thing is, I mean, for a $50 microphone, it's really amazing. And I was using it the other day on something, so I have it up on the broadcast arm. This is by the way, this is my new broadcast arm. And the thing is, right, I haven't showed this to you. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. This is the new broadcast arm. It's actually so long. I mean, it can go right out to here like this. So. RIP. It's a great studio for doing audio. I don't know if I'm such a great streamer. Let me read this. RIP to the devil in the world, and I just don't want to see it again. Yeah, but the devil in the world is not dead yet. I mean, if you're referring to a politician or a person, you know, I guarantee that that person isn't the devil. But yeah, but I appreciate it. Nagar, where are you viewing from? Where are you in the world? Because I always like to know, and I don't think we've spoken before. So welcome to Taiwan. For those of you who aren't familiar, we have a site, and it may be a little bit hard to read. If I can maybe do this a little bit and put it kind of, sort of, I don't know. Anyway, the site is livestreaming.technology, and it is a forum for live streamers who, you know, want to talk about technology. It's also for viewers who want to interact, because a lot of the live streamers that you know are there. And I've set up a number of forums for live streamers specifically to interact. But you know, if you want to talk about different platforms, you want to talk about Twitch, you want to talk about Twitter Live, Periscope, and YouTube, and all, you know, D Live, and everyone we can think of, you know, RPAN, and you name it. So if you want to talk about these platforms and ask questions and so forth, so a few different ages, and I have a lot of money. Fist bump. Good for you. Feels good, don't it? It's a good feeling not to have to worry about money. And it took me a long time to get to that point, you know. You can get to the point, but it takes a lot of planning. And for me, that plan brought me to Taiwan. And I've lived in Taiwan now for 17 years, and I love it here. And everybody knows by now I'm Taiwanese. And Dean's one of my longtime followers, and so is Bernardo. And we haven't seen Coco for a while. Coco sometimes joins from Twitch. I know she likes watching on that platform. Twitch is actually a technologically superior platform. It's a great platform. And so, 23 and already rich. Fantastic. Now the question is can you keep it? Because I'm going to tell you something. I have seen a lot more poor, older people that used to be rich than the other way around. It's amazing. The bands that I used to work with in Boston, you know, and they got huge record deals. I'm not going to name any names, but I personally knew a band in Boston that got the largest recording deal in MCA Records history And they released an album, released a video, a series of videos, went on tour and stuff. And 9 months later, they were back sitting at the bar, and it was over already. So, Coco, I kind of figured, that you were in the background. Good to see you. All right, fist bump to you. How you doing? And listen, you are one of the few people I know that know Adam Audio. You know, the guys who you know, from Germany, the Adam Audio, and this is the T8V. This monitor came out about a year ago, so. Well, that's good. That's good. A guy that I knew back from the studio days, I got my first, this is really cool. When I was 23, I got my first production deal with a studio in Boston, you know, to record 9 tunes, you know, pursuant to get we had some label interest, you know how the whole thing works. And so there was a guy who used to hang around, and his name was Stu, that's all I'm going to tell you. And Stu was a great player, and he was just, see, now this we're talking about like 1978, and not everybody played back then like they play now. You know, this whole speed picking thing really wasn't a thing, you know. Although early on as a guitar player, I used to try to pick everything. I didn't try to do, you know, arpeggios or legato, you know, with a lot of hammer-ons, you know, like, right, okay. All right, if you trade crypto, I got to come back to that, because you got to think about something. But this Stu guy was into speed picking way back then, and his grandmother died, and he inherited a lot of money and went around the world, and I saw him a year later, and he was completely broke. Crypto. You're 23. I'm 65. I know things that you don't know. Not because I'm smarter. Actually, you're probably smarter than me, to be honest with you. Just because I'm older and you know, I have a history, right? You know what I'm talking about? I saw how things used to be, and in 65 years, that's like time travel. If you think about it, you know, if you suddenly went poof and time travel 65 years, you know, to where you're 65 years old, you go, wow, that would be a big jump. Here's the thing. No. Crypto's not the future, and here's why. And please, you need to listen to me. There are powers that run the world. They've set up a monetary system. It's fiat money. I'm going to reveal a couple things to you. It starts out in the United States. The Federal Reserve Bank is not a federal bank. If you, for example, go to Hong Kong in the old days and you get money, I know we're in different times. Will you please listen to me? Please. All I ask is you just listen to me, please. Yeah, I know it's not. And bucko. Okay, I know it's not. But if you're not willing to listen to me, that's fine. But if you don't have an argument, okay, I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait until you're finished. Because I've told you that I know things that you don't know. I have no idea why you wouldn't want to listen. There are a lot of people that think they're right. And you might be. But you said you're 23, and you said you're rich, and you said you're smart. Well, if you don't listen to other people, then you're not smart. You can't be smart. You can't. Okay. Thank you. We're good. I'm not ticked off or nothing. The Internal Revenue Service is the privately held but government-backed collection agency for the Federal Reserve Bank. The money that you pay to the IRS does not go into the U.S. Treasury because it's fiat money. The United States government borrows money to pay debts. If you owe the IRS money and you write a check to the U.S. Treasury Department, they send it back to you. So that means that money has nothing to do with running the country. It's enriching the people who own the Federal Reserve Bank, who rent money to the United States. So its citizens have some kind of currency. The thing is, right? Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. And I'm willing to listen to you too, bro. Here's the thing. Those people have painstakingly set up systems that circumnavigate the constitutions of all of the nations of the world, and they get away with it. See, in America, the income tax is the only self-assessed tax. It's not an indirect tax, it's not a direct tax. It violates the taxing clauses of the Constitution, yet they do it. These people are not going to allow you or anyone else to set up an independent monetary system that they cannot control and that they cannot rape. Here's the thing. Well, I don't live in the U.S. either. But if you think it's limited to the U.S., I'm using the U.S. as an example because most people are familiar with it. But here's the thing. All the governments of the world are about to make cryptocurrency illegal. That's what's going to happen. And the new law that's been proposed about making people report it as if it's a security doesn't work because blockchain doesn't record things like, you know, the person who bought and sold it. It just records the transaction, but not the personal data. And that's what's going on now. There's already a bill before Congress. But here's what happens. All it takes is for the U.S. to do it, and everybody else will do it. And I'm going to tell you something that I know about personally. Because here's the thing. You can be an enemy of the people. You can drink a bottle of whiskey and take a gun and shoot a bunch of people and somehow get away with it. But if you become an enemy of the state, that is when you will go under the jail. I used to be the vice president of engineering for the second largest talk radio network in the United States. This was in the mid-90s. It's called the Talk America Radio Network. And what I'm going to tell you is the absolute truth. We had a talk show host named Tom Callahan. He did an hour show every week, 5 days a week, every day I meant. And so back in those days, that kind of show cost $5,000 a week. I know you did. But all that has to happen is all the governments of the world have to say that the value of that is zero and you're back down to nothing because you didn't convert it to real estate. You didn't convert it to something tangible. This is what I'm trying to get you to understand. See, I got all these songs in my DAW. They're on my hard drive. They can't become hit records until I release them into a form that people can consume. What happened with Tom Callahan is relevant. His thing was get the UN out of the US and the US out of the UN. He wanted the United States to kick the UN out of New York City and to withdraw from the body. So here's what happened. I would accelerate that if I were you. I would accelerate that transfer now, and I would make sure that you report the taxes on it, because I'm going to tell you, yours truly had a big battle with the IRS. And, it's a battle you can win. It's just you have to be prepared. And you have to figure out which hill, you want to die on. It's not worth it for most people. So Tom Callahan was anti-UN and anti-US in the UN. But he was dealing in gold coinage. He would advertise brokering gold coins from Mexico on the show. Now I heard this, because I'm at, the headquarters, and the station obviously, the network is obviously on the speakers in the building, so we can hear what's going on. If there's a problem, immediately we got to know. So I'm, like it or not, I'm hearing these shows all day long, and I've heard this guy say, "Get the U.S. out of the UN, the UN out of the U.S." I heard him say 20 times a day. One day he got indicted. Now here's the thing, American citizens are not allowed to own gold bullion. And he was dealing in gold coinage, and there was some kind of bizarre federal level loophole, and they put him in jail. One day Tom shows off the air. "Hey, what happened?" "Oh, he got arrested." And they said he was scamming all that. The network president said, "Oh, he was scamming." Well, I got a call, and the phone rang, and it was Tom Callahan, and he was in prison. And he asked, for a collect call, would I take the charges? I said, yeah. And he said he needed to talk to the president of the network, and he said, and I asked him, "How you doing?" He says, "Well, they put me in with the general population, and I've been beat up every day." And he said, "Last night was particularly bad." And the man didn't say it, but I heard it in his voice. He must have got raped. It was terrible. I've heard this guy's voice every day. I never met him, but I heard his voice every day, and I heard him on the phone, and he was not the same person. And Tom Callahan got 30 years in prison because getting the UN out of the US and the US out of the UN made him an enemy of the state. And all I'm saying is at any point in time, you or me or anybody else can be made an enemy of the state. And the powers that own the world, and there are powers that own the world, are not going to allow you to get wealthy using a form of currency that they can't control and that they can't make money off of. Because if you use U.S. currency, every single time you do a transaction, they make money. The Federal Reserve Bank makes money because they're lending money to the country of the United States, and this is how it works. So I want to make sure I don't miss your comments. I just want to make sure that I read this. It's a little hard with the background. So, in 2 years, my goal is to be at 500K. Just want to buy a 2K house to live in and rent, and a 50K car. Okay, I understand that. What I'm saying is, how come they were shut down already? There's a time. Oh, they don't have to shut it down. They just have to turn you into a criminal. See, that's the beauty of it. There's a time for everything. Part of it is that blockchain technology has a lot of different uses, not just for Bitcoin, right? And admittedly, this bill that came before Congress, they clearly don't even understand how it works, but they're rapidly catching up. All I'm saying is this: nobody expected crypto to do anything. Serious investors never bothered. They never even looked at crypto. It's just a trend. As soon as it went beyond being a trend, then it got people's attention. Okay? And so look, I don't know if you've ever been in the water with sharks swimming. I have. And everything's fine until they notice you for some reason. If you suddenly act like prey, then they're like, hey, what's going on? Get in on. That would not be my advice. My advice would be to get out of crypto while you can. Because you mark my words, the taxation part is coming, and the whole point of blockchain, like DLOS, is to avoid detection. And generally speaking, the people who are into crypto don't want to pay the taxes. So they're probably not gonna. Yeah, but it's vapor. It's just like this. All these hit songs I got, they're on my hard drive. One power failure and, got to have backups, right? I understand the metaphor is not exactly the same, but it is in its own universe. You have to cash it out to use stuff in the real world, unless you're dealing only with other people that deal in Bitcoin, and you can't make all purchases in Bitcoin. So this is what I'm trying to tell you. So Tom Callahan didn't do anything wrong. He just made himself an enemy of the state by saying, we should get out of the UN, we meaning the United States, and he dealt in gold coins because he was trying to circumnavigate the fiat money system of the Federal Reserve Bank, and they put him in jail for 30 years. So I'm just saying, I am not disagreeing with anything that you say. I just think, well, let me just put it this way. Every time I think I'm being too cynical, something happens and I realize how naive I actually am. Yeah, Bitcoin is the future. I can see it vividly. Understand. The king of Babylon. Look at this great city, Babylon the Great, that I have built to my own glory. It's a pile of rubble today. Bitcoin is the future until the governments of the world say that it is not. I don't know why you refuse to acknowledge that that's a possibility. I don't know why you refuse to acknowledge that at any point in time, all the governments of the world can say Bitcoin or any, it could be Kanye coin or whatever the heck it is. Those cryptocurrencies are all illegal now. And it can happen. And there's a movement. What do you mean? That isn't going to happen, though. What do you mean they can't? You don't understand what you haven't seen? You haven't seen the new bill before Congress in the United States? I know you said you didn't live in the United States, but if you think that if the United States is successful in getting cryptocurrency under control and under taxation, what do you think? Where you live, they're not going to do it? The only place that you could possibly live that they wouldn't do that is Grand Cayman. Just when I went there, I went to all the banks and talked to them, and they said, yep, this is completely tax-free. No matter what you put in here, there's no taxation. It's tax-free permanently. Okay? But to open a bank account in Grand Cayman, I had to have 3 high-level references from, 3 other major banks. So, there are many examples of things, innocuous things, things that aren't wrong, things that aren't even bad, that the governments have just made illegal, Banks have not been pouring billions in. What banks have been doing is investing in infrastructure to try to control it. It's a different thing. And trust me, as soon as this becomes a hot potato and it becomes a controversial thing, I mean, there are no companies that are recommending cryptocurrency investments, and there's a reason for it. Well, here's the thing. You sound like a really smart person. And I will say this. I don't usually say that people are 23. So I appreciate that you've done a lot of research and you've done quite well. I appreciate that a lot. I sincerely hope that I'm completely wrong. I really do. I hope that I'm 100% wrong and you are 100% right, and that you get to reap the benefits of all the hard work and the brain power that you put into it, because that's what I like. I love success stories. I love it when people make millions of dollars on things, you know, that they do. I'm an inventor, and I run a manufacturing consortium here in Taiwan, and I'm a retired old fart rock star from, you know, from way back and stuff. And I love all this stuff. I think it's great. It's just that for me personally, I would never invest in crypto. I just wouldn't do it, because it's like Queen says, you know, everybody play the game, and it goes outside the game. So yeah. Well, the fact that you said, you know, you hope yours is correct is good, because at least you acknowledge that, you know, you might need to adjust it. So that's cool. Yeah. Well, here in Taiwan, there's a lot of guys, right, that come here from Vietnam and Thailand and Indonesia, and they get their first paycheck, and it's like 30,000 NT, which is around $1,000 US, and they never had that much money either. So, yeah, I remember the first time I made a big chunk of money. I remember this business that I started. You know, the first chunk of money I made was like 88,000 US dollars, you know. And so one day you're sitting there and, you know, you got, let's see what I got in my pocket. I got like $10, and then the next day you get a bank transfer for 88,000, and it definitely changes your perspective. Yes, I just wouldn't wait. That's all I'm saying. Just keep your what we say, you keep your weather eye open. You know, like when you're on a ship, the weather eye, so you can read the sky and kind of see what's coming. Keep your weather eye open. Keep your ear against the rail and make sure. And I know you don't live in the States, but you know I don't live in the States either. I've been living out of the States for 17 years. But there's one thing that I've noticed, even in Taiwan, they follow the U.S. lead. I've been here trying to get ivermectin, and I went to the doctor, and the first thing the doctor said was, has the U.S. FDA approved it? I'm like, who cares? This is Taiwan, and we follow the U.S. FDA. And so pretty much everybody does. They follow the U.S. on this and that, whether they're, you know. So I moved to Taiwan to make money originally. And then I realized this is where the American dream is. I had so many problems and issues in Taiwan. I couldn't get anything done, couldn't get any investment money. You know, the whole concept of the internet recording studio, you know, like I told you, I was vice president of engineering at the Talk America Radio Network, and I wrote a paper on, because I've been a broadcast engineer and a recording engineer and a record producer, you know, and I've got like 500 sessions under my belt. And I wrote a paper on an internet recording studio that would be able to record sessions from all over the world, and I worked the whole thing around, you know. Yeah. That's actually a political party flag that is actually the party flag of the KMT. And so, I mean, the mayor of my town was going to give me a building. I was friends with the foremost studio designer in the world. You know, couldn't get financing. He sent me to places, couldn't get anything done. It's ridiculous, you know. I came to Taiwan with $60 in my pocket, and oh, the other thing too, I was sick. I was injured. I had to take a year off recording an album. You know, I had no health care because I was self-employed, which is another reason for I can't find a job anywhere, so I had to invent, you know, ways to make money. And there was just no security there, no nothing, and no health insurance. For 7 years, I didn't get the health, you know, care that I needed. And finally, when I moved to Taiwan, and I saw all these things that this little tiny speck of a country had accomplished that supposedly the greatest nation in the world couldn't do because of corruption. I decided to stay here. I've been here 17 years. I got married here. I had a daughter when I was 57 years old. So, no, I'm a singer. I know I don't look like much now, but I'm just not going to brag or anything. Here's what you can do. I was known internationally as MJK. All right. Now, there's other people come along call themselves that, but you know, for like 35, 40 years, I was the original MJK. So I'm in Asia. So it's easy to remember. I've got a website. It's not even. There's not even a security certificate because it's just a place to play back stuff. But if you go to mjk.asia, then you can listen to my old catalog. I had a 4.5 octave voice. I auditioned for Kiss when Ace Frehley quit. You know, that's where I was. I knew Tom Scholz, Brad Delp from Boston, and I was in the Boston music magazines, you know, every week for, thank you. I was in the Boston music magazines every week, you know, for a decade, you know, working in studios and producing stuff. So, anyway, so, no big deal. I did live stream some recording sessions back in the early 90s, 96 and 97. Before we had mobile phone live streaming, everything was streamed on a, you know, on computer, right? So, but I got my guitars hanging on the wall, so yeah, I enjoyed talking with you too, and I appreciate you listening and not just dismissing me as some old crusty fart. I am an old fart, but I'm just not a crusty one. Fist bump. Drop in again, okay? Drop in anytime. Let us know how you're doing. All right? And check out mjk.asia and let me know what you think. It's old school classic rock, you know, just loud guitars and stuff, but a lot. If you like Queen or you like Journey or Bad Company or there's, you know, groups in that genre, you probably would appreciate what I used to do. And I've got a new record. The album's called Redemption. And I haven't actually released something since 1995, so it's going to be cool to come back. I quit the business because of corruption, so fist bump. Thank you. All right. Now let's do this. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, my man George wants to say hello.
Hi, this is George from Taiwan, JDS. You're watching the Late Night with AJ Klein.
And George has another cool one.
This is George from JDS Taiwan. You're watching the Late Night with NJ Klein.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's 2:32 in the morning, so yeah, I'm getting ready to hit the rack. I do have a couple things that I have to do tomorrow with our trading company and stuff, but mostly I'm going to be here in the studio working on stuff, so it's going to be fun. And you have a good day too. Thank you. So George has joined us in the Late Night group online, and JTS has a bunch of. Oh, by the way, you should follow me on YouTube because I don't always stream on Twitch. Sorry. Hope you caught that. Thanks. So JTS has a lot of really cool new products, you know, but I wasn't able to show this earlier too clearly, but the JS1P comes in this box, and you got to be careful when you open this box, okay? Because when you look at it, you go, okay, this is maybe the top, but you know, when you open this thing, right, it opens like this, and okay, opens like this, right, and you go, okay, this is the top of the box, right, except it's not, because the box opens like this, you see, and the mic could fall out, so you have to open it so this is up, and this is actually on the side, and then the mic won't fall out. But that's what it looks like in the case. And this is like, this thing is it's packed in there really tight. This foam holds this thing in there like really tight. But this is it. This is the one that I was using before, and you can see the beautiful contour on it and the button on the front and the knob. And this is, you know, I don't want to give this microphone back. I agreed to do a review. Here's my review. Buy the mic. It exceeded my expectations. It's absolutely fantastic. I'm going to do a video that talks individually about things, but you've heard me use this a bunch of times. And it's, you know, I have no doubt, I wouldn't want to do it, I have no doubt that I could drop this on the floor right now and pick it up and it would still work. And you can't even see through the dust screen. It's not a full windscreen. You can still get pops on it. But I gotta tell you, I love this mic, but I took it down because I wanted to use, it's a USB mic, and I wanted to use an XLR mic. But now they have the Plus version, see? And the Plus version has an XLR on it too, like they show it here. See, there's an XLR, which is a mic cable. So they make a version that has a USB-C and an XLR connector. And that's the one that I want, so I can do anything that I want. If I need an XLR mic, I got the USB-C, but if I wanted, you know, I mean, if I want an XLR mic, I can use the XLR connector, or I can just use the, you know. What I mean by XLR is, I mean this kind. You know, good old mic cable. You guys seen these, right? 3-pin connectors. This plugs right into the mic. This is what we call an XLR connector. The input to my monitors are XLR or RCA. I'm using XLR right now because it's balanced. But the JS1P uses a USB connection. But the JS1P Plus that has that XLR connector and a USB connector, its USB connector is USB-C, and USB-C is actually superior in a lot of ways. So anyway, I'm really looking forward to working with JTS. Now George is going to get back to me, but we're in the middle of August and we're just about ready to start. We're going to bust a move soon. We're just about ready to start going down to the JTS studio and doing some videos there. And the JTS studio is quite beautiful. and I had a bunch of pictures of it at one time. But this is a picture of that JS1P mic just sitting on a desk with the included, or that is actually the optional stand. The optional stand is a little higher quality, but the green light means you're on the air. You press the button as red, then you know that it's not. So there's some pretty cool stuff coming up, and there's some stuff that I can't show you yet. I'm not authorized to show you, but this is the main control room of the JTS recording studio, and that is an Otari analog console. It's pretty much like my Soundcraft Ghost I have over here, and of course I have a computer and a video monitor, because like most of these other studios, they actually have it set up to record to a DAW, digital audio workstation. So it's all computer audio, and there's another shot here. And like a lot of studios, it's really cool. They have an island in the back, and if you look at the front face of that island behind the console, it's racks full of equipment, like outboard gear and stuff. So I'm really looking forward to visiting that studio and checking out these microphones. I mean, look at these. I mean, look at this microphone cabinet. And those are just the products that they already have. These are all products that already exist. The other products that they have are like, I showed you guys this microphone already, the karaoke mic. They've got another mic that they just developed. That's a karaoke mic, and that's a set of JTS headphones. That's the same karaoke mic in the carrying case. And I also have a set of JTS headphones that I use in my studio, and they're sitting right over here, and they're fantastic. And what I like about them is the bottom end on those headphones is very close to what they are here on the Adam T8V, which goes down to 33 hertz. So, all right, guys, it is like super late. I was planning on going out and looking at the Perseids meteor shower, but my wife is not feeling too well. She's got a really bad headache, and it's kind of worrisome. So we're going to see how she feels tomorrow. Just thought it would be a better idea to stay home. Weather might be worse tomorrow, but hey, you got to do what you got to do. But if the weather's good, we're going to be taking a drive down. There's a big grassy field that my wife found on Google Maps with no streetlights, and boy, if the weather's clear, that's going to be a perfect place, because tomorrow is when the Perseids meteor shower hits its peak. But even tonight, when I get done here, I'm on the 4th floor, so I got to go out and climb up the stairs, and I'm on the 5th floor roof, and I'm going to take a look in a few minutes and see if in fact there are any meteors. And if there are, I'm taking my lounge chair up there and my water bottle, and I might just go to sleep out there. I love sleeping outdoors. It's fantastic. You guys take care, and we'll see you next time. And I don't know if I'm going to do, not on this channel, don't know if I'm going to do a review of the T8Vs, but I just want to say this before I sign off. I have used many different kinds of recording monitors over the years. Everything from the little Oratones up to, like, there's a company called SOTA, S-O-T-A, State of the Art. I don't even know if they're still around. Those at that time were the best monitors I ever heard. But I had most of my experience was with a pair of Eastern Acoustic Works MS-50 monitors that I had. These are all externally powered. The internally powered monitors is kind of relatively a new thing, cell-powered monitors. But I got to tell you, let me talk to you about that that privately, Coco. I might be able to get you some kind of discount on that, okay? But yeah, that'd be great. I'll send you a message on that. But here's the thing. I have never heard a set of monitors like this. They go down so low, but they're not woofy. They're, you know, everything is tight. You know, the bottom end is tight. And the tweeters, they're ribbon tweeters. Now, I've used ribbon tweeters in other studio monitors, and they irritated my ears to death. They were just so brittle and harsh and metallic. And these are soft and sweet. It's smooth. It's warm. I was doing something for several hours, and I was really surprised that my ears weren't fatigued. I felt great. So I mean, I paid 205 euros each, and that's like a steal, because they're supposed to be $299 US a piece, and you can't even hardly find these, but they had them at Tamen. That's a German company, Tamen.de, and I ordered them and got them in a week, and UPS shipping was 100 euros. Can't beat it. There's 24 kilograms. I bought one other thing. I bought a Mackie Big Mac Studio. I'm having problems with that. I have to do, on my Phoenix Media Forge Studio YouTube channel this week, I'm going to do a documentary on this device and its problems, because we got to fix it. I got to find out what's wrong with it. I mean, I got to give Mackie a chance to solve it. So we'll see you guys later. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it. And, you know, everybody says, to support the channel, you know, do this and do this, you know. I'm not a channel. I'm a person. I don't support channels. Like, if I like or subscribe to somebody, I don't support their channel. I'm supporting you. So I'm asking you to support me, please. And I've got this little outro, and I want to thank everyone for joining. Thank you so much, you guys. That was great. You take care. Have a good evening. And we'll see you next time on Taiwan Live TV. Bye-bye.